Hey guys, welcome back to our vegan kitchen. We're getting near the end of Veganuary, aren't we?
Sort of.
I don't know when this is going up, but we're making vegan pasticcio today.
Woo!
And this is a Greek dish. If you've ever had pasticcio, I think you're going to think this is pretty close. If you've never had pasticcio, basically it's like Greek lasagna, except it's pasta, meat sauce, pasta. And the pasta is tossed in a bechamel sauce. So it sounds complicated. It's not. We're going to break it down into 3 different components. The pasta needs to be cooked separately. The sauce needs to be cooked separately. And the bechamel needs to be cooked separately. That's going to be in this pot. So once you get those 3 pots completed, you put it together. You pop it all into the oven, you cook it like a lasagna, and it's amazing. And everybody will love it, I guarantee. I've brought this many, many times to my non-vegan family get-togethers, and everybody loves it. So let's begin. The pasta water is going to come to a boil soon, so we have that going. We're going to start the meat sauce over here. So I'm going to turn this on, mid. And we're going to start by browning off our chopped meat. I'm using 2 Beyond Meat hockey pucks, I call these. You could use Beyond Sausage. You could use the crumbles, the Gardein ones. You could use any meat that you want to put in there. You could probably even use lentils if you wanted to be like healthy, unlike me. But I really like the way this tastes in there. It's got that smoky flavor. And it really, it's very close to a chopped meat. So I'm just going to brown this off. I just thawed it out in the microwave a little bit. So once we get this going, we're going to add the sauce. And I always cheat when I do this because I just use a bottle of sauce, a jar of sauce. But there was a trick played on me. I only have half a bottle of sauce left. So I'm going to have to throw together my own sauce.
Oh boy.
If I was doing this, for regular, I would just use this pasta sauce and then I would add a couple of seasonings to it. I'll show you, but bear with me. I'm going to just cook with me. Just cook with me. I'll write out the whole thing in the info box. Let's just cook together. So this is browning. This really does not need to be cooked very long at all because if this is overcooked, it starts to burn and it doesn't taste good. So this really only needs a couple of minutes. A lot different than actual meat. So that's a good thing because you can get dinner on the table in a hurry with this. And don't forget, it's going to cook in the oven too when you cook it all together. So this really does not need to be cooked all the way through. We're almost there. That's how quick this is. I'm about to add in my tomato sauce here. So I just found the can of diced tomatoes. I'm going to just put that in here. This is going to be a lot of pasta sauce.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We don't really have to use all of it. The best part about this is the leftovers. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes if you just have the leftover bechamel sauce, you can throw that on some plain pasta and it's delicious. Or you got some already made meat sauce here. I'm going to throw in my Paisana Sicilian gravy as well. This is a lot of sauce. You don't really need that much sauce, but that's okay. We like leftovers here.
We love them.
All right. So I'm not Italian. I don't have a secret pasta sauce recipe. So I just really a basic pasta sauce girl. I'm just going to throw in some granulated onion. I don't even chop a real onion, because nobody's going to care. So do like a tablespoon of that. I'm sorry, a teaspoon of that. We're going to also do a teaspoon of the granulated garlic. Has this one not even been open yet?
Looks like it's fresh.
Ugh, I don't want that one. Okay. The easy open. Alright, so we're also going to put like a teaspoon of that. Don't forget, too, the pasta sauce that I already have in there is already seasoned, so I'm really just seasoning the diced tomatoes. You got to throw in some organic basil, like a teaspoon. We're going to throw in some organic oregano. This is all I know of pasta. Basil, oregano, onion, garlic, and some salt. I'm going to throw in like a teaspoon. So far we got away with only dirtying the teaspoon thing.
Nice.
Alright, so this is cooking up pretty quickly. And remember, it's going to cook in the oven too. But I think I'm just going to let this simmer on the stove a little bit, but not before I add the secret ingredients. Now the thing that gives this the Greek flavor, believe it or not, is brown sugar and cinnamon.
Oh.
So I've got my cinnamon here. We're going to do a half of a teaspoon of cinnamon. This is going to add a really like unique flavor. When you taste it, you're going to understand. Like if you've ever been to a diner and had this, you can taste it in there. It's just going to take it over the edge. And somebody's, oh, that's Greek. And you'll say, oh, yes, I know. And then we're also going to use coconut sugar because this is what we use for brown sugar. And I'm going to use a tablespoon of that. So I'm going to actually move this to the back burner. Don't you love that phrase? I'm just going to move this to the back burner because I'm going to be cooking my bechamel over here. So I'm going to turn this down to low because my pan is small. I only have a little saute pan here. So in here already is my oil. And I'm using the Nutiva butter flavor coconut. This makes the best bechamel. Anything with a butter flavor, delicious. So I have a 1/4 cup in there, but you don't need to know that because you're just going to look in the info box to get all the measurements for the recipe. And I'm going to do like maybe a little bit more, like a 1/3 of a cup of flour. I'm going to whisk. Not whisk, I'm going to spatula.
Okay.
So now this is very much like making a roux. You want to be sure to cook your flour a little bit because you don't want it to taste pasty. So I'm just going to let that melt and cook a little bit while I get the rest of my ingredients for this. Alright, so this has been cooking for a couple of minutes. We want to just flavor this a little bit before we start making the sauce. So again, just half a teaspoon of the onion powder. And by the way, if you don't have granulated onion, you can definitely use just onion powder. And a half a teaspoon of the granulated garlic. And again, you can use the powder version. We're going to do a teaspoon of salt because we don't want it to be bland. And then I think we're ready to start adding our oat milk.
Oh.
And you don't have to add oat milk. You can use any non-dairy milk. Just make sure that it's not vanilla. Because vanilla will ruin it. It will be terrible. You want plain, unsweetened. And the oat milk, I don't think you can get unsweetened because I don't think they like sweeten it, but it's got some sugar in it. So we're probably going to end up adding about 4 cups or so. I never really measure it. I put a little bit in. I whisk it to make sure I don't have any lumps. See how it thickened up nicely already? So then you just do it like another cup. And then you bring it up to the thickness. And you keep doing this until you've added about 4 cups. And our water's almost boiling over there.
Looking
So
good.
we're ready to throw the pasta in just a second. We'll let that go for a little bit. Alright, so the other thing that you're going to want to add is some nutritional yeast, aka Nooch. So this is a tablespoon, so I'm probably going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's like 1/4 cup. So I'm going to whisk it up. And when that gets thick, we're ready to add the secret ingredient, the optional ingredient, which is going to be 2 slices of chow cheese. you don't have to use chow. You can use chobani. You can use miyoko. Whatever your favorite mellow vegan cheese is. You could use a cheddar, but it's better if you use like a lighter, like a white American type. You could even throw in some Violife mozzarella shreds. If that's all you have, that's fine. Alright, so while this is thickening up, we're going to put our pasta in. Today, I'm using seashells, number 22.
Oh.
So, normally you would use like a penne or a ziti or a rigatoni. But this is what I had. And I like the smaller noodles. They're really nice. So, to fit in my 9x13, I'm going to do a pound and like a third. I'll probably still have a little bit left over, like everything will fit in there. But it'll be okay. And yes, I did not do enough water, but I just wanted it to cook quick. So let's get this mixed up. Whoa, splashing. No splashing in the front.
Splashing on the stove.
Nobody told me this was the splash zone. It was like a Gallagher show.
Hmm.
Alright, so we'll let that cook. This is almost, I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit so that this thickens a little bit quicker, because I'm going to babysit this with my whisk. In fact, I'm just going to put the cheese in so that when that starts to bubble, I can just turn it off and it's just going to melt. So I said we'll do 2 slices.
Yes.
And you don't just put it in like that. Just tear it up. Otherwise, somebody lucky is going to get a giant chunk of cheese.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
I know.
This almost tastes like 2 slices of chow cheese.
Alright, well let's check back after our pasta's done. And we'll be ready to assemble. Alright, I drained my pasta and I put half of it into the bottom of a 9x13 dish. I'm going to move my other 2 ingredients over here so that we're not going back and forth and you guys can see everything that's going on.
Sorry, I had to show Bowie because he's adorable.
He's much better than I am.
I mean, there's no, like, it's
no
apples and oranges.
comparison, I know. Alright, so we're going to put, I would say like a third of the bechamel in with the, you know what, why are we doing this the hard way?
Why are we doing it like this? You said a third?
Yeah, about a third. And we're just going to mix it up with the pasta. Make sure everything gets evenly coated.
It all smells so good.
It really does. And I have my oven preheating to 375, so that's going to beep very soon. And we could go another, this one's a little neglected. Alright. So that's the first layer. Then we're going to add our sauce. And now this is going to be a distinct layer. You don't want to mix this up. You want it to have, you know, like in lasagna, you do the layers and you keep it separate. So we're just going to cover that. Did I just slop that up?
It sounded like it, but I don't know that you actually did.
Yeah. Again, why am I working harder when I could be working smarter over here?
This is going to be so dang good.
Thank you. You know what? I'm gonna put all.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Make sure you get all that goodness out. I love fast food. Okay. And now we're gonna take the remaining pasta, and I usually just dump it in here.
Oh, good idea.
Unless I have way too much sauce, but I don't. This is pretty good. Mix it up, and then guess where this one's going? On the top. Again, you don't want to mess up the layers, so I mean, you could slop it on, but not too hard. Some people would put like grated cheese on the top. I kind of think it's a little bit of overkill.
Yeah.
but you could if you wanted to. If you wanted me to think you were too extra, go for it. I was about to put that in the sink, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna lick that when the camera's off.
Fair enough.
All right. We're gonna do the aluminum foil trick. Spray your aluminum foil so that the pasta and cheese doesn't stick to it.
Oh.
I just put it on very loosely. The only reason why I put this on is because I don't want the noodles to dry out. Because if somebody bites into a hard noodle, it's going to hurt. So I just put it on very loosely. This is almost up to temperature. It's 365. We got 10 more degrees to go. This is going to go in for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how fast or slow your oven is. Then we're going to let it rest for at least 15 minutes because this is going to be molten lava and you don't want to burn your face off. So you can take the cover off. Thank you, oven. And let it rest, and then you'll be ready to serve. All right, it's blazing hot.
I can tell.
All right, so my husband's going to taste this because Maddie's not available right now. Please blow on that so you don't burn your face off. I was going to say this is pretty much the same meat mixture and sauce that you would use for moussaka. And instead of the pasta noodles, you would use eggplant. So it's basically like pasta moussaka. And by the way, my husband is Greek, so he's a good judge of...
Greek American.
Yeah. He's a good judge of what is Greek food.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Delicious.
We had this on Christmas as well. Christmas Day, we had some Pastichio.
Very good.
Well, there you have it. Should everyone subscribe while you eat?
Yeah. What are you waiting for?
I know, right? Well, thank you for tasting it for me. I can't turn the camera around because this is Maddie's camera. So why don't you tell everybody to have a great Veganuary.
Have a great Veganuary.
And maybe subscribe. It's free.
Please subscribe and smash that like button.
Yeah! All right, there you have it. Till next time.
Much love.
That's right.